Welcome to Bleav In 76ers with your hosts, former 76ers point guard Eric Snow and two Sixers fanatics in Marcus and Teja Dash. Bleav In 76ers is presented by BetOnline.AG.
BetOnline.AG is your number one source for all your basketball info, stats, news, and scores. Get the latest odds and lines, including the latest player reports for this year's pro basketball playoffs. BetOnline is always your sports information headquarters this season, as we have you covered for all your sports wagering needs. Basketball, MLB, NHL, right to UFC, and boxing. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to get your betting info, including live betting options and your favorite casino and card games you can play right from your home. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Be sure to use our promo code, that's Bleav, B-L-E-A-V, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Bleav In 76ers podcast. I'm Marcus Dash here with legendary 76ers point guard Eric Snow and my brother Teja Dash. Guys, lots to get into this week. We've had James Harden went on a show and kind of broke the ice a little bit. Maybe gave us some insight as to what's going on. So we got that, and also Paul Reed's comments about what plans Nurse has for him this coming season. So lots to get into today on this episode. So let's get into it, boys.
Let's do it.
All right. So first one I mentioned, James Harden, his interview that he had this week. Had an interesting quote that everyone's kind of pulling from. I wanted to ask you guys about. So the quote is, quote, "I wouldn't want an organization to send someone somewhere where they wouldn't want to be, because you've built a real relationship with that person. That person has done so many great things for your organization, your franchise, but then you don't want to give that player away for nothing. So I get both sides. Just find a balance, meet in the middle, and hopefully both sides can come to an agreement." Now, the question was about Damian Lillard, but we can't help but assume he's also talking about his own situation. And if he is, do you think this contradicts earlier reports about him wanting to start the year with the Los Angeles Clippers?
No, I don't think it contradicts it. I think that's his preference. Well, how I took that was there's other places that he's okay going, but not Philly. That's how I took it.
Anywhere but here.
Yeah, I mean, it's some other places you could send me that I'll be okay with, if not the Clippers.
That's interesting. Okay.
That's how I took it. This is my preference. But hey, if you really trying and they can't really make it work, I'll take this place right here, or I'll take these couple places right here.
Interesting.
It makes a lot of sense. I didn't go that route, but I could totally see how you did. I like that too. So I think I'm going to break down the situation. I think it's a little different than Lillard's, right? So I think Houston would have been his version of Lillard's Portland, not Philadelphia. So although he allegedly wanted to go to Philadelphia from Houston, they eventually did Brooklyn because, they got the most out of Brooklyn in a trade. And I think, Harden was probably meeting them in the middle and going, okay, I'll deal with that. I'll go with that. I know guys there. They're a good team, probably win a championship. Let's go there. So in the end, Brooklyn ends up trading him to us for less than what they got him for. Because at that point, he didn't owe Brooklyn anything. Doesn't know the franchise. Doesn't know the GM. Didn't know any of them. So he didn't owe them anything, like he talked about, owing a lot to your franchise and your owners and your GM. So now he comes to Philadelphia. Doesn't owe the city anything. Doesn't know most of the people anything, but he is close to Morey. But that relationship is apparently fractured. So then it comes down to, how fractured is it? As a question. So where's the balance? Eric, I love your take on that the balance is going maybe somewhere else. I took it as in him maybe being a little more patient with Philly, maybe okay staying a little while until they figure it out. But unfortunately, I think your explanation makes more sense.
Yeah.
No to Philly, yes to somewhere else, just not here.
I think that's what I firmly believe that's it. He's there. I don't think it's a situation where he he's changing his mind and coming there. I mean, staying in Philly. I think if he stays in Philly, it's going to be because they won't move me.
Yeah.
And that's what it's going to be, and that's the way it's going to stay. I'm coming to do my job because I'm required to do it, but my request, demand, or whatever they call it, still exists.
But at the same time, he said he's okay with management's take on, or he's understanding of management's take on not trading you for below what they deem you're worth. So,
yeah, I mean, that's true. But the issue is, and I think I said it on the last show, what they deem you're worth, then pay me what you deem I'm worth. Yeah. That's the issue. So you can't say I'm worth all this, but then you won't pay me that. So it's going to be a form of balance, because that right there is how it gets ugly.
Yeah.
When you have these high demands, but you won't give me the money for those to match those high demands. You know, and I know Steph Curry is Steph Curry, but I'm just saying. Let's just think of what if someone wanted to trade Golden State and trade for Steph Curry, how much they would actually have to offer to even get their attention. Maybe wouldn't get their attention at all, but let's just, fiction-wise, how much you think they would have to offer? Tons, right?
For them not to hang up the phone?
They also pay him the maximum amount that they can pay him without hesitation.
Yeah. That's why the Lillard situation is so different, because Lillard is making a lot of money.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So he is boom. Lillard's is different because he got paid. He's under.
He already got it. Yeah.
The difference is the team isn't trying to win.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's not young anymore.
Yeah.
So that's why I think he gets moved, because it's like, yeah, we paid you. We want you to be here, but he's selling tickets for a team that everyone knows most likely aren't going to win the championship and probably won't even make the playoffs. Like when can we look at their team and be firm like they're a playoff lock in the next how many years? Couple, 2 or 3, and this is what a playing game. This is what a playing game. We can't look at them and say their future tells me there'll be a lock for the playoffs in 2 years, 3 years.
I wouldn't even say they're a lock for the play-in game.
But obviously with Dame, you have a chance every year. He's that kind of talent. But you look at that team and you like any kind of slippage or injuries, they'll make it. Some teams you can see slippage and injuries, and making the playoffs isn't even an issue. It's just whether they can get out of the West.
Or the seed, what seed they are.
What seed they're going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, is Portland is their future more promising than the Mavericks with Luka? No. Minnesota? No.
No.
Sacramento?
No.
I mean, that's all. Oklahoma City? No.
Even future-wise, no.
That's what I'm talking about. Future, like next 2 or 3 years, like no. The top teams, we don't know how that's going to play out. But right now, if those guys are healthy and playing the way they play, we know that any combination of those teams will be there.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about the teams that are younger and haven't really consistently made the playoffs yet. And I just mentioned the West teams. So that's 4 teams we mentioned that looks more promising.
Yeah.
Maybe not the Spurs, obviously not, but it all depends on if young fella is as good as they is advertised.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can see that changing quickly. But outside of that, where? Houston. I mean, that's somewhere we don't know. I mean, they got some veterans around all those young guys that could flip. I don't think it'll flip this year, but that could flip within 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
But see, Lillard's change of scenery changes his biggest gripe. It fixes that. Harden going to the Clippers is not fixing his gripe. He's not going to be paid more, and he's not going to be paid more next year. They're not going to pay him $50 million next year. They don't have the money for it. So he's going to get even less with the Clippers. Actually,
That's the thing about it, though. They have the money. They have the money for it, and that's his maximum, which means that he's able to make it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? He's able. He fits into that mold. He qualifies for that, basically. He qualifies for that amount based on what he's accomplished in his career. Correct?
Oh yeah, just for valuation for him where he's at.
That's what I'm saying. So he can make that amount. So if he can make it and you decide not to give it to him, so what's the balance between what he's able to get and what you're offering him? How much is in between?
So he's got to be pretty confident that the Clippers are going to give him more next year than we're giving him right now.
No, this is what I'm trying to say. Is if this is his maximum, and the Sixers are giving him X amount, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that difference is, living where you want to live and being where you want to be.
Yeah, well,
make up for that.
Yes.
Not having a home in Philly and going back and forth, he can save money that way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even though it's, I don't know. I'm sure those guys don't live cheap. You know what I'm saying? Even though they may rent or buy. I mean, I don't know if they rent or buy houses nowadays with all this. When they live in different cities from where their main home is, like I don't know. They have a lot of money to just buy the houses that they play. Rent them for a year, like however they do.
Yeah.
But either way it go, just I said the same thing about Russell Wilson when my son was asking me why I thought he took less money. Like that was his market. I said I felt he could get more somewhere else, but he's also at the stage where he's at home. He's at the house home he lives in all year round. His children are of school age or becoming of school age,
and he liked his role there.
And he likes his role, and he wants to be with his family. So you don't have to move your family. You don't have to change schools. You don't have to. It's value in that, especially as a player gets older. It's value in that.
Yeah. For Harden, it's less about
James is different because
lifestyle.
He's different. He doesn't have a family. I don't know if James has children or not, but he's not married. He doesn't have a family.
He's got a nightlife.
No, I'm just saying he's not married with children.
It's different.
So it is different. But there is value in living where you want to live and not having to. So that is value. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And if you're married to the nightlife, I'd rather be in LA than Philly.
But at the end of the day, I mean, Philly is New York. It's the same. I mean, LA's nice, but I didn't necessarily consider LA's nightlife to be like that. I consider LA to be like that, but not the nightlife.
Yeah.
You hear about guys saying, "Hey, I don't need to hang out in LA." It wasn't really like that.
No, for a guy that wants to go to like concerts and venues,
it's not Vegas where you hang out all night. Like, there's other places, Atlanta, whatever, Miami, that's like more clubby than LA.
Yeah. No, clubby, sure, but like celebrity parties, all kinds of events.
All that, yeah. But they can do that in the summer.
I know. Yeah, well, yeah.
I don't think. I just think it's just comfort of living.
Yeah.
And I think Tracy McGrady also said something this week about how his trade request doesn't make any sense. If you want to win a championship, like the best place to be would be staying.
He's talking about pure basketball.
Basketball, yeah, nothing more than that.
Yeah. Most guys I've commented on it, like former players, I've said like, this is where he looks perfect there. Like, what are you doing? Like, so they're just thinking pure
basketball decision. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
From a basketball perspective, but I think this is different. I think this is
more than that. Yeah,
more than that, and I think a lot of people that make comments about what James should do, I think a lot of people would see it differently if they were in his shoes.
Yeah,
as far as the relationships, what he's accomplished in his career, what he's being offered, what he's able to get. I can't sit up here and say everybody would respond like the way they're telling James he needs to respond.
Yeah, especially in the moment too. It's easier to be like a post NBA vet saying like, "Oh man,
someone of like you use Tracy, for example, Tracy's status. You know what I'm saying? First ballot, all NBA, top player in the league. They see it differently. You know what I'm saying? Like they got a different lens than everybody else.
Yeah.
So if he's at that level and he's at the end of his career, but he still put up that type of career for him, equivalent to what James did, he's not trying to hear that.
Yeah. Not to mention telling this. I don't know how old Tracy McGrady is right now, but telling that McGrady at this age saying that, and McGrady at age still in the middle of his toward the end of his prime.
Yeah, but that's the thing about it. But that's what I'm saying though. Like Tracy had a heck of a run there. Then towards everybody else towards the end of his career, it tempered off like everybody. Yeah. But maybe everybody except LeBron. Everybody. I'm just saying everybody. But if you're telling me that Tracy put up equivalent numbers to what James Harden did based on his career, and he had the third best team in the league, you can't tell me that them dudes will be pay me way less. They wouldn't do it. That's why I said I can talk from there about them, but I've never seen it out of their lens.
Yeah.
So there's no way that they're going to come and you already gave them a discount for 2 years. There's no way those guys do that. That's what I'm saying. So a lot of guys like me, as role players and journeymen, and starters, some non-starters. We see it, but them top players, come on, man. That's different. It's only a couple of them. It's not a lot of them.
Yeah, I think I can't. Now I'm going in the shoe of a player, putting himself in the shoe of another player. So it's really hard. I'm way out of there. But I think when they see it is they just put together a few different factors. He's made a lot. He's made his money. He's made a lot of money. He has the accolades. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. All that stuff's done. Now, at this point, in their minds are saying, you should just be trying to get that ring now. Go to your best situation on the court. But he doesn't want to do that. I just think there's a disconnect between how much Harden is prioritizing on the court fit and then off the court fit. And I think he's putting a lot more weight into his off the court fit now.
I don't see it that way. I don't see it as him putting it on in the off the court way. I think it's more of, you're not being fair to me based on what I've done and what I've done for you in my career. I see it more like that than what he wants to do off the court.
But don't guys, as they get older, start to take less to stay competitive? But he's in the opposite, though. Maury's signed the contract.
So why should a guy that's older take less to stay competitive? The guy that's younger shouldn't take less to stay competitive?
I don't know. Ask Aaron Rodgers.
I'm just saying, if it's to stay competitive, why did only the older guy has to take less?
Because you're matching your talent trajectory, because your talent's starting to do this, then your salary shouldn't do this.
But it's to stay competitive, though. You said to stay competitive.
Yeah, because Harden.
That's what I'm saying. So if we're trying to win a championship, why should only the older guy take a pay cut? This is the end of his career. He's not going to get any more deals. Once he go down, he's not going back up. A young guy can go down like LeBron did when he went to Miami, and he will go back up. Old guys, you go down, you're down.
But everyone's less willing to give you money when you're older.
But if they're you said take the less.
No, I know, but
stay competitive. I'm saying
the younger guys have a window to ask for whatever they want, and the team will give it to them. Jaylen Brown, for instance. Jaylen Brown asking for this money in 5 years from now, no, it wouldn't happen.
Jaylen Brown earned that. He earned.
No. I'm not saying he didn't. Absolutely, but the reason why they ask for as much as they can when they're younger is because they know that the team will give it to them or something close to it. Harden's, whether it's here or anywhere else, Harden's having a hard time
saying though. But what you're saying is Jaylen Brown should have said, you know what, y'all can give me $304 million, but I'm only going to take $250 because I want to stay competitive.
Yeah. I mean,
you know what I'm saying? So why should James do that then? Or why should an older guy do the same thing? Now he takes a pay cut to play because we're saying, hey, either you're going to take this or we're going to move in a different direction. but you don't take it just to stay competitive.
It's not just this. It's not just. It's to find what's fair for your market, right? Because
but that's not to stay competitive. That's just what the
if there were
market.
10 teams willing to pay Harden that money, then I'd say, like, why the hell would he stay? But no one is giving him that contract. No one want. The entire league agrees with Philly right now. No one's giving you that money, James.
I mean,
no
because they know that Philly. But why would the entire league give him an offer that we all know that Philly can match and keep?
Well, then why didn't he go into free agency then?
Because Philly can match it. Philly can offer more.
But he opted in, which means he guaranteed himself that money right there. No option for more.
Because you can control the trade. You can control the leverage. You want to control when you give Philly the chance to get something back, and you can be traded.
So you think if Harden knew there was a team out there willing to pay what he wants?
Well, technically, you're not supposed to know because you're not supposed to be talking to anyone.
Technically. Come on. Yeah. Oh, sure.
Right? I'm just saying.
Technically.
I mean, that's with the rules now. You didn't see a lot of the tampering.
I think it all makes a lot of sense. He thought the Rockets were that team, and he was playing that note since December.
Well, we don't know. The Rockets could have been that team. We don't know. They didn't give him that deal until after he opted in. He didn't get that deal before James opted in. James opted in before that.
Van Fleet and that were, I mean, they were almost same. I mean, they were neck and neck.
We don't know.
I think he's got enough connections in Houston to know if they were going to offer him that deal or not.
But we don't know. We can assume, but we don't know.
Yeah.
So on the same note of Harden opting in and kind of controlling where he wants to go, there was also another quote. Austin Rivers was on a podcast this week, and he mentioned Harden and Ben Simmons, both former Sixers. Well, one soon-to-be former Sixers guy. But he mentioned saying that the NBA is a privilege. If you were a free agent, then you could choose where you want to go. That's the business. This started with James Harden and Ben Simmons. All these guys doing this shit, it's bad for the league. Do you agree with the kind of the forcing a trade out of a place like what Ben Simmons did, and then what Harden's trying to do now? Do you think this is bad for the league? Do you agree with Austin Rivers?
I mean, what's bad for the league? How?
I guess my guy's not kind of sticking with their contract that they agreed to.
So a guy asking for a trade, or a guy not playing. Which one are you talking about?
Asking for a trade, asking out of the contract.
For trades and asking. That's not new.
Forcing their way out.
That's not new.
But asking and forcing are two different things.
I mean, didn't Charles Barkley do that? Did Will Chamberlain do that? Like, that's not new.
But yes, but those two were a difference of like 25 years, not 5 times.
I just gave you 2 examples. I didn't say that they were the only ones. What's the difference? No difference than, quote unquote Magic Johnson getting the coach fired, forcing the coach out, forcing your way out.
Yeah.
So this stuff's not new.
I don't think it's good.
It's just that people talk about it all the time now. It's a topic. We're sitting here talking about it.
That's true.
Is it good to have a bunch of unhappy players? No, it's not good for the league either, right? So
it keeps people talking about the NBA all year round.
Yeah, that's true. You look at it both ways, though. Is it good to have unhappy players? No. Is it good to have players forcing their way out?
I have no issue with it whatsoever. One thing I can say that usually the team that has won the championship, we don't have these issues.
Yeah, well, that's definitely true.
Yep.
So, there you go.
At least not soon after they win the championship. A year or two later, you can start to see that stuff happen.
The summer that they won it.
Yes.
But if guys were free agents and they didn't get their worth, then maybe they would, like Denver did have guys leave. That was very important to their team.
Yeah.
Because of contracts.
That's true. True.
Okay. You just happen to be a free agent.
I agree with you. I think it's been happening for a long time. It's funny that people.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, to say it's bad for the league, I wouldn't necessarily say it's bad for the league. I think it could be a stain if a guy just won't play. won't show
So
up.
that did happen to us, though.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like that's
Ben
that's
Simmons.
not,
The Ben Simmons one's different than
yeah,
the
that's
Harden.
not. I don't think anyone looks at that and be like, man, the league is what's wrong with that league. I think Ben got more heat from that than the league.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, his career and how he was perceived in the league has flipped.
Took a big dent.
I mean, a lot of
Now,
teams.
if more players did that, I think it would be a problem.
Yeah, but I think that a lot of people were seeing that, and they're seeing that, yeah, he got out and he this and that, but
they don't want what comes with it.
Received, yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah,
it looks worse for him, not better.
They're like, it's not worth it.
Yeah,
it's not worth it at all. I did think overall he brought up some good points though in that whole interview. He talked about saying we're at a point now where the top guys aren't getting screwed, but the mid-level players are getting squeezed and being forced to take less money. Those are the guys who are kind of getting screwed with what's going on with contracts. But which I thought was a good point.
The history of the NBA has always wanted. If you look back to agents a long time ago, they've always wanted pay the best players as much as you can pay them and pay everybody else the minimum. There's been agents that felt that way.
I know.
If you could pay one guy, if you could pay Michael Jordan $90 million and everybody else the minimum, they would have did it in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's not there's some people that believe that that's how it should be. So that's up to the union to negotiate those things.
Try to sort out. Yeah.
So it was that was when I came into the league and when I went through a couple lockouts and negotiations and that's how the mid-level and by mid-level, all that stuff came about because the mid-level, the middle ground was being pushed.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of contracts, a lot of minimum contracts. It wasn't many opportunities in the middle, and it wasn't many options in the middle because a couple of guys, you had basically your top four players and everybody else is being squeezed to the bottom. So that's how these mid-level exceptions and all of this stuff came into play because of that. So that tells you that the mid-level area, how it's being affected. But right now, the mid-level is what, $10 to $12 million?
Yeah.
Okay. I think the first year we put it in, the mid-level was like maybe $2 million.
Oh man. That's the vet min now.
We didn't even have I don't even know if the vet minimum was put in that year or after. Where 10-year service or so was like $1 million. And they would put that in because teams were signing younger players because they were less expensive. And then the veterans, and so then they add the veteran minimum. And then when they put in the veteran minimum, teams were still signing the younger players. The veteran minimum was more. So they started saying it counted equal on the cap if it was $1 million, if it was a minimum.
Yep. Yeah.
So they had to change the language,
man,
to get more people to sign the veterans, even though they put in that higher minimum salary.
A lot has changed.
Yeah.
So the next topic, so Paul Reed, so one guy that we've brought back. Harden's gone, but or will be gone at some point. But Paul Reed coming back recently said that Nick Nurse told him that he wants to mold him into a name that recently came up on our podcast, a guy that we talked about last week. And he said, quote, he talked about molding me into a Pascal Siakam type player, somebody who can do it all, shoot the ball, drive, pass. But right now it's all about focusing on my shot mechanics. That's the start. That's where it starts at. So, guys, is this kind of a realistic mold job? Is Paul Reed a guy who can become a Pascal Siakam type player? And is Nurse just trying to be encouraging to the young player, or is this something that can actually happen, you think, with Paul Reed's skill set?
I think it's something he wants to try to explore. I don't know how it's going to happen with the current group we have.
That's true.
So, I guess
you need the ball to do those things.
Spend the time, spend the time working in that direction. I just don't know how he's going to get the time and the touches and the minutes to even show that potential.
Yeah.
I mean, Siakam it's like their number one option.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how many touches and shots he get to be able to show all of that? But he did work out with Rico. You know, he's a Rico guy. So I'm sure they kind of got the blueprint, kind of see him in the same mold. But Siakam's always played sort of a wing forward position instead of a post position. So that's sounds exciting. I don't know if usually guys that are forwards that you kind of move to do more things in the wing position has already shown some form of skill set to play that position.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't usually take a post guy and kind of make him into a guy. He's sort of a guy that already handled the ball a little bit. You know, already the offense kind of went through him a little bit. Then you kind of expand his game. But we'll see. Maybe it can happen. I'm just saying I haven't seen enough of him to feel like this is something that could, you know, kind of take off. I think he can get better, but to be used the way Siakam is used, you have to show me. I don't see how that can happen. But primarily because I don't see how the minutes and the touches and the action is going to be able to present itself.
Yeah, that's a good point. I like that he's starting with a shot, though. I like that. I think it's a little bit of both. You know, I think it's great.
Now the shot is something I think that if I thought the shot, I thought that would probably be something you can go that route, meaning the Al Horford route. Like something you can, you know, Al Horford all 15, 17 feet and then shots, and all of a sudden he went out to three.
Yeah.
Brook Lopez, all those guys. Like, I thought you can go that route.
Yeah.
But to play like Siakam, that's a totally different thing right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
To me.
Yeah, it is kind of strange because he was saying how the Siakam thing, but then he said it all starts with the shot. But you look at Siakam's got a 33 career shooting percentage from three.
Yeah, so but he's also able to create so much off the dribble.
Yes. Yeah. So I would say if you're going to become a Siakam, I said it would start with your dribbling.
The ball. Like, you got to score the ball. Like, he's been able to be successful while shooting what you said 33% because he's able to still score the ball without.
Yes. Yeah. He averages last 2 years almost 6 assists a game last year.
That's why. And that's why I'm saying, like, to say him, like, that's a tough feat right there.
Yeah. You're adding a lot to your game. It's not like you have like one or two things to get better at, and then you'll be more like that guy. It's like
that's tough right there. Like, I mean, it'd be great, sound great, but that's a tough one.
Yeah. I mean, it's very encouraging. There's summer league splits. People have posted them. They're kind of comparable from like Reed from 2 years ago and Siakam from his like summer league, well, many years back at this point. But yeah, I think the biggest thing's a shot. Siakam doesn't have a good three, but his mid-range has gotten a lot.
All I'm saying is, like, Siakam,
he's crafty around the rim too.
Yeah, I understand that, but you know, you talking about how can we say we're looking for him to be Siakam and we still saying we have Joel and Maxey scoring 20 points a game? That's what I'm saying. Like, which one of them are going to take a step back?
Yeah. Yeah.
And are we going to replace James and Tobias? Like, come on, man.
Yeah. I would assume if Reed stole, Siakam's talent and kept it, I think he would. I'm
just saying, like, if Reed was paid like those other guys, then we would know he would get the touches. But he's not, so he's not going to get those touches, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Biggest thing for me and Reed is developing a jumper. Like.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if we'd have said that, then I'm like, I understand that. Yes. Yeah. Spread the court, play more minutes with Joel. But the other stuff, I just don't.
Yeah, that's extra.
Good, but I don't see how that's going to
happen. He gets a jumper, then he's playable next to Joel, and that's all that matters to me at this point.
Gotcha.
Just be playable next to Joel. Hit open threes, hit like 36%, 37%. Yeah. More than fine with that.
Speaking of Joel, So going into our next topic, which is gonna be a fun one, I actually can't wait to see Eric's reaction to to this topic. So Joel Embiid this past weekend, he got married, as evident by all the social media posts and pictures with past and present Sixers players. Paul Reed was there, Maxey was there, Melton, Niang. But what stuck out to a lot of the people online and Twitter was who wasn't in any of the pictures, and that would be James Harden. James Harden and PJ Tucker were at a concert of some sort that same night because another social media post came out on Harden's Instagram, I Bleav.
Eating burgers.
Eating burgers at a concert. So Eric, is this a big deal, or are people just looking for things to talk about in the month of July?
I mean, guys can do what they want to do during the off season. I don't understand it, man. Guys, I mean, some guys that got married, I went to the wedding. Some of them, I didn't. Like, come on, man. There's nothing into it. I don't see anything to it. You do what you want to do, man. They grown. They grown men.
Let me ask you then, because you've been involved with this. If you saw, it's a little different now because it's all in your face on social media and stuff, right? If you saw like all your teammates there with him, you're like, I'm cool with him. What the hell happened? You wouldn't be like, what the hell, man? Like you wouldn't. No,
it's the difference between not going and not being invited. The difference is the invite, not whether you attend.
Yeah,
that's where the issue comes in.
And that part we don't know. We don't know if he wasn't invited.
That's what I'm saying. So if they're having something and the guy doesn't show up, it's not a big deal. He can't get mad and say all those guys having fun, and he had an opportunity to go.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that.
The issue is you see all those guys going, and you didn't get an invite. Then you could be like, oh, okay, that's how it is. But I Bleav he got an invite, and he just didn't go.
Question, what do you think would be a bigger deal? Like, who would be more insulted? James if Joel didn't invite him, or Joel if James got the invite but decided not to go?
James for not being invited.
You think that's more insulting?
Because it's an invite. I'm sure the whole team got invited.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And
you be the only one not invited? Like that. I mean, sometimes you invite a guy, even though you ain't really feeling them like that. You know, like y'all don't really see eye to eye like that, just so it won't be a bigger issue.
Yeah.
Now I've seen that. Now I know for a fact there's guys have invited people to their weddings and they didn't really see eye to eye anymore. But they invited the whole team, so you just couldn't leave a guy out.
Yeah, that's
then you
tricky.
Put it on you.
It's tricky, especially if they both have long-term contracts.
Yeah, so I don't see anything with that. Guy don't show up. If he don't want to go. I mean. They put it in there most of the time when they send the invite. They say, "What? This is an invite. Let us, RSVP. Are you coming or not?" They give you an option, right? They don't say it's mandatory that you come to this. Come on, man, stop it.
Now Harden could have came and caused some headaches there if he wanted to.
Ain't no headache with the players.
I'm kidding. I was making a Harden training camp joke.
Yeah. I wonder if Morey was at the wedding. I didn't see any pictures of Morey at the wedding.
I thought there was that a different event they were at together.
I didn't see any Morey pictures at the wedding.
I saw a picture of him, Joel, and him talking. I'm not sure if it was that event or a different event though.
Oh, okay.
Good question.
Good.
But yeah, some of the points.
What happened? Harden was like, "Is Morey coming?"
We're reaching on that wedding thing. We're reaching.
Yeah.
Let them move on. Like that's too much right there.
Yeah. So some of the comments were, Melton's there. He was only there for a year. Harden was there a year and a half with Embiid, and then also
stop trying to tell people what they need to do with their own time. That's going too far, man. Want to talk basketball? Let's talk basketball. You can't sit up here and tell guys what to do with their own time, man. Stop it.
Yeah.
People, man, social media, man, it's giving people the leeway to say all that stuff now.
Well, yeah, it's like
Yeah.
This is more just a funny one to see a reaction to that was being talked about this week.
Makes 0 sense.
Lastly, going back to James Harden, so there was a report that surfaced this week how the Clippers are reluctant to trade Mann because of his importance, because he's a homegrown young guy the Clippers can have when they open the new stadium. That was the report. The question is, since Harden has made it known that he wants to go to the Clippers, should he be somewhat insulted that the trade is being held up by the reluctance of the Clippers to get rid of Terrence Mann, who's just one of the role players?
I don't know. I mean, I Bleav that everybody has a price. So whatever they telling you about this whole, they want committed to Terrence Mann, they committed to Terrence Mann until they feel like they can get whatever they want to move on from it.
Yeah.
So I don't think they want a homegrown, like, come on, man, stop it.
Yeah.
Homegrown guy to move into, come on. You actually read that. You didn't believe that when you read that, did you?
No, I didn't at all. I just
really.
I thought it was funny when I read it, actually.
Yeah, they got to come with something. They got to come with something. Whoever reporting right now, you got to come with something better.
He's 20. He's not even like, you act like people are like, he actually is like 22-year-old like guy out of college. He's 27.
Everybody in the league got a price. So
I think what it really means is Clippers are in no rush and they're not gonna
just say that.
Yeah, they're not gonna be pushed into it.
Just don't give me no new building and Terrence Mann, like, and you sitting up there with Kawhi and Paul George and your team, you talking about Terrence Mann is the guy you want to take it to the new building. Like, come on, man.
Well, they're both free.
There's no knock on Terrence Mann, but I'm just like, come on.
No, of course not.
Seriously, like, you're not going into the building saying you're gonna show Paul George and Kawhi, T. Lue on them billboards and all that stuff about that new building. That's what it's about. We all know that.
Yeah, I agree. Those guys are possible free agents next year, though. Maybe Terrence.
Yeah, if they're not there, then they'll show whoever replaced them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's definitely true. No, they want us to believe that Terrence Mann and Boston and Zubac are going to be on the billboards leading up to 2024.
Yeah. I had to read that report a few times because I was like, a new stadium, they want to keep Terrence Mann around. All right, that's interesting.
Yeah, they're just not in a rush, and they're posturing for a better trade.
Neither are we, apparently. So
yeah, so no one's in a rush.
Yeah.
There you go.
So who's gonna fold first? All right, guys. Well, before we get out of here, a big boxing event this weekend. I just want to get your thoughts on it, Eric. What do you got, Errol Spence or Terrence Bud Crawford?
Man, y'all know I don't do all that betting stuff, man. I don't know, man. Look, I don't know. All my guys that I talk to personally that are really, really into boxing, like I follow the top flight fights and kind of know who people are, but all of the numbers and detail of how they box and what they do, well, I'm not that deep into it.
Right.
I just enjoy the sport. But all of my guys that follow boxing a lot and bet, I haven't had one of them say that Spence will lose.
Really? Wow.
I've read online that some experts or some people say they felt Crawford would win. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying the people that I'm close to, that I talk to, that are into boxing, they have all said Spence will win.
They're rooting for him, or they think he's going to win.
No, they don't necessarily root. They just
think he's going to win.
Like based on how they follow it and how they think a person would win, and
the matchup,
the boxing matchups, and how they think would win, why they think he would win. So it's more of that conversation. And I'm saying people that I talk to in detail like that, I have yet to come to anyone like that tell me that Spence would lose.
Wow.
So, but we will see.
Yeah. It's going to be a good one.
So that's not me saying that. I'm just telling you that's what I've been told. So Crawford may, he undefeated too. So we'll see.
Yeah. So you don't have a dog in the fight now. You're not picking. You just want a good match.
I don't. Yeah, I like them both. I watch it and I watch it evenly. I'm not pulling for anyone. Mm-hmm. But it'll be interesting to see, how it goes, and hopefully it's a good match.
Yep. Yeah, Crawford's a slight favorite. So your friends can get good money on betting on Errol.
Who's a slight favorite?
Crawford's a slight favorite. It's pretty much almost. It's almost.
Who's y'all bet on?
I'm gonna be betting on Crawford.
You gonna be betting on Crawford?
Yeah.
Who you betting on?
I haven't bet yet, but I think I might bet on Crawford. I don't know. I'm not a huge boxing guy, though. I watch the really big fights, but outside of that, I don't mess with it. So I'm not going to go crazy.
Mike Tyson was on Stephen A. Smith's podcast, and he said,
Mike was one of the guys that said Crawford would win.
Yeah, it was like a no question Crawford with him. But a lot of experts, you see a lot of experts saying Crawford. It's pretty much like
the odds are tight, so that makes sense.
It's right down the middle. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've seen a lot of boxing greats, like a lot of the boxing greats that said Crawford.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a lot of the boxing talking heads say Spence.
Yeah.
But sometimes you never know, like, who these guys have relationships with.
Yeah, definitely.
Or who they like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just never know. If they really watch them, and like, we don't know, but the one thing we know for sure is here tomorrow, I believe that in this hometown that I'm in, it would, well, not necessarily this hometown, but the city next to us. Mm-hmm. I believe at the T-Mobile.
Popping.
Yeah, I'll hear about it.
Yeah,
I won't be watching it, but I'll hear about it. I'll watch it next week.
And who knows? We might see James Harden at the event. When they show like all the different celebs there, he might be there.
I'm sure that's the place to be. I'm sure a lot of people will be there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we hope everyone enjoyed the episode. We hope everyone enjoys this boxing match tomorrow night as well. So, hope you guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right, guys.
See you guys.
Later on.